The story opens with a young warrior, panting heavily and visibly overwhelmed, as he faces off against a monstrous foe. This towering beast, covered in thick scales and radiating malice, is none other than Kabaros, the dreaded wingless dragon. As a high-level dungeon boss dwelling deep within level 67, Kabaros is notorious for incinerating parties of adventurers. Without hesitation, it breathes a searing wall of flame that engulfs the battlefield, placing the entire party in immediate peril. A sorceress among the team screams in fear, her voice trembling as she admits she's unsure whether her defensive spell will hold. Panic sets in, but just as the flames seem ready to consume them, the group's heavily armored elder freezes mid-motion. His eyes widen as he sees something truly bizarre. Emerging unscathed from the inferno is a small green goblin. In such a high-level zone, a goblin should be cannon fodder, not standing tall in the middle of a boss battle. Yet, there it is, alive and untouched. As the adventurers gape in disbelief, the goblin suddenly darts forward at an astonishing speed. It effortlessly evades the residual flames and slams its wooden club directly into Kabaros with incredible force. The impact is devastating. Kabaros collapses instantly, the monstrous body hitting the ground with a thunderous crash. Silence falls. The blonde youth in the party stares, speechless, trying to comprehend how a creature as insignificant as a goblin could defeat such a powerful enemy in one blow. The rest of the party stands paralyzed in confusion. The sorceress mutters a question. Was the goblin summoned by someone? The elder's sharp eyes catch movement on a nearby hillside. He raises his hand and points. Everyone turns to see a lone figure standing in the distance, framed by the fading embers and rising smoke. As the dust settles, it becomes clear. That man was the one who summoned the goblin. From here, the scene shifts. Far from the chaos of the battlefield, we are taken to a completely different place. The protagonist, Kim Chi-soo, is working a grueling construction job. He's drenched in sweat, yet a cheerful smile rests on his face. This earns curious glances from his co-workers, who ask why he looks so weirdly happy despite the back-breaking labor. Carrying a sack of cement over his shoulder, Kim Chi doesn't answer. Instead, his thoughts reveal a deeper, more somber reality. To himself, he confesses that he's nothing more than a goblin, a low-tier, unremarkable existence both in-game and out. He pauses to take a drink of water and quietly reflects on his frustration. Some people, he muses, stumble upon fortune overnight. Others, people like him, remain nameless, no matter how much experience they gather. As he stands lost in thought, he overhears a conversation about a man named Mr. Cha. This man had disappeared from the site after discovering a lucrative opportunity in a virtual reality game called Gate of Heaven. It's a fully immersive experience that blurs the boundary between the real and the virtual. In this world, players can earn real money by acquiring rare items or discovering hidden classes. Kim Chi recalls hearing about this game before. It had only recently launched, but was already consuming the lives of players worldwide. The tech was so advanced that the equipment became a luxury. Still, internet cafes allowed less fortunate individuals like him to access the digital realm. As the game exploded in popularity, its in-game economy began to affect real-world markets. Rare items could sell for thousands of dollars, and the idea of becoming rich inside a video game no longer sounded like a fantasy. With a mixture of longing and bitterness, Kim Chi remembers the joy he used to feel playing Gate of Heaven. That feeling is gone now. All that's left is grinding, and more grinding, cut to the digital world. Inside the game, Kim Chi is immersed in battle. He activates one of his basic combat skills, Rock Strike, and delivers a powerful blow. It connects cleanly, rewarding him with 3 auras, the in-game currency. But the minor success does little to ease his frustration. He screams in irritation, voicing his disbelief over how much time and effort he's poured into the game for so little progress. He wonders aloud when the part of the game will begin where he becomes a legendary hero, gets the girl, and lives out the fantasy he always dreamed of. Doubt creeps in. Is Gate of Heaven even worth it anymore? Just then, something catches his eye. A glimmering, advanced healing crystal, an item that could easily sell for 300,000 won. His heart skips a beat. Excitement wells up inside him. He erupts into laughter, clutching the crystal like a prize. Overcome with joy, he thinks, This is why I endure the endless mining. But the celebration is short-lived. Behind him, a group of players appears, drawn by his outburst. One of the women in the group observes him with curiosity. Embarrassed, Kimchi slowly turns to face them, and freezes when he sees the woman's face. She's beautiful, ethereal even. She approaches and casually comments that she's noticed him mining daily and assumes his mining level must be quite high. Trying not to sound flustered, he admits he's decent at it. She explains that her party ran into a large boulder deeper in the dungeon and needs someone with high mining proficiency to clear the path. Although her team is powerful, they lack his specialized skill. Kim hesitates, admitting that he's low level and venturing deeper could be dangerous. Before he can finish, one of the team members, a short but stocky dwarf, chimes in confidently. He assures Kim that his only job will be mining. They'll handle all the combat. Kim's a bit surprised. He hadn't expected such a response from a dwarf. The dwarf picks up on his hesitation and calls him out, accusing Kim of assuming dwarves are only good for digging. Kim, slightly taken aback, tries to backtrack, but the damage is done. He pauses to weigh the situation. This might be a good opportunity to gain some experience and maybe even score more rare materials. Still, the pit in his stomach won't go away. The group is far deeper into the dungeon than he's ever gone, and a creeping sense of unease lingers. The beautiful woman steps closer and smiles sweetly. She makes one more request, complimenting his strength and saying he's exactly her type. Overwhelmed, Kim accepts. But the moment the words leave his mouth, regret kicks in. What had he gotten himself into? They proceed into the cave. Not long after, a level 7 beast called a gay wolf appears. Kim immediately panics. Even though the monster isn't high level, it's still far beyond what he can handle. The wolf charges, and Kim screams, crying out for his mother in sheer terror. Just before the beast strikes, a torrent of flames engulfs it. A woman steps forward, her hands still glowing from her spell, Salamander Flame. She calmly checks on Kim, asking if he's hurt. This is Catherine Lee, a level 39 sorceress and evidently no joke in battle. Kim stares in awe. She'd annihilated the monster with one move. He quickly thanks her, and she gently reminds him to stay close. It's far too dangerous to wander. For a moment, Kim allows himself to believe this might be the start of something magical. That is, until another team member appears. A tall, muscular man wades through a wave of monsters. Unimpressed, he scoffs and activates a skill called Swing of the Giant Wheel, annihilating enemies left and right. He mentions they're looking for a rare ore, one that only someone with extremely high mining proficiency can unearth. That's why they brought Kim along. Yet despite being the key to this mission, Kim still feels like a tool. Fed up, Kim speaks up. He tells the warrior not to underestimate him, that he can fight too. Fueled by pride, he slams his fist into the massive boulder. He's determined to prove himself, but when the dust clears, the rock remains perfectly intact. The tall man and the dwarf exchange doubtful glances. They question whether the intel about the ore was even real. Tension rises, and the tall man threatens the dwarf, warning him about the consequences of bad information. Meanwhile, Kim feels humiliated. Again. He's tired of being underestimated, used, and disrespected. He takes a deep breath and decides to just do the job. Maybe it's just another lousy day. But then, a crack. The boulder splits apart. Everyone freezes. Behind the broken stone is something glowing. A hidden door. A secret dungeon. Shock ripples through the group. Kim can't believe it. He found something big. Something that could change everything. With trembling excitement, he declares, this discovery could be his jackpot. A path to hidden classes, legendary loot, and real change. Catherine smirks, teasing whether he's really part of their we. Kim doesn't care. For the first time, he feels like this might be his moment. Then, without warning, the tall man activates PvP mode and attacks. Kim hits the ground hard, groaning as 480 HP vanishes. He gasps for breath as the tall man mocks him. Catherine joins in, her tone cruel, as she laughs at how little effort it took to find the hidden dungeon thanks to a mere miner. Kim's chest tightens. He realizes this was planned. They knew about the dungeon. They just needed him to unlock it. The tall man grabs Kim's head and leans in. Since you helped a little, we'll kill you quickly. To be continued.